There were several reasons why the Little NBA was such a big hit through different generations or manifestations of the Little NBA. First of all, it was a way to just do exercise while having fun. Those of us who play basketball or pretend to play basketball, we just can't get on an elliptical and get the sweat going or anything like that. We might be able to if we have an injury, but we don't get all the same exercise. We don't use all the same muscles as you do when you're playing basketball. So it's a complete sport in that regard.
I've tried other things, you know, jogging and swimming and so forth, but nothing compares to basketball for me. And I didn't play as a high school player in high school, but I played pickup games throughout my entire life, and it's just something I enjoy.
The nice thing is that you know there's a constant game and that it's good fun and enjoyable. A good way for me to get a sweat in. I mean, it's my exercise as much as I can Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So it's a nice way of breaking up running and doing other things. So
everyone hits a point where they can't play anymore. I mean, that's just the nature of aging, and I think that, I mean, unless I was not able to even jog at a slow speed, I would find a way to be out there. I mean, even if a doctor told me I was going to be inflicting further damage on myself, I would keep playing. Just, I don't know, when you really have a passion for something, you find a way to make it work. And, you know, my hope is that if I can stay in decent shape and, you know, try to take care of myself, that I'll be able to be out there on the court for another few decades.
We were all at Georgia Tech, and we all had the same sources of stress or deadlines, but that 1 hour or an hour and a half that we showed up to play basketball was a complete disconnect from all our worries, even our personal worries if we had any. And I think that was a huge therapeutic effect, that we knew that not only were we getting the endorphins in our system from the exercise, but we were also just disconnecting and distressing from the daily things.
Well, you do, right? Because that's something you enjoyed, and you try and find something else you enjoy. The other aspect is exercise is something that most people engage in some form for the health benefits, if nothing else. But this is the best way to get that. You know, the fact that it's exercise is sort of a side effect. The fact that you're doing something you have a lot of fun. The same thing when people go, for example, hiking. They enjoy the outdoors, and the fact that it's also good for you physically is an added bonus. And I think the NBA was like that. You know, the fact that it was good for your health was sort of something that was an added bonus. It was more the opportunity to go play with friends and colleagues, and that sort of noontime camaraderie that was really the attraction, I think, for most people. And if you have to lose that, then you sort of feel like you've lost something, right? And not something you could easily gain back. You know, even if you were able to go off and engage yourself in other things, there's always this pool of memories and a certain type of give and take that you're going to miss and that you really can't replace.
One of the most surprising facts, I think, about the Little NBA was that everyone got a lot of exercise, had a lot of fun, and didn't get hurt. Of course, we didn't play basketball in a tough way either. So, you know, it wasn't about winning, strictly speaking, and we all wanted to win, you know, but nonetheless, we didn't play very rough with each other. So that was, I think, a highlight. The other thing is that no one really seemed to be hurting, or his health never really faltered throughout the years. And that's, I think, remarkable, again, because probably the average age was in the 50s or 60.
The older I get, the more tired you get. And I'd say the first 10 years, it was more like, yeah, man, got to get back to work, you know. Maybe the last 10 years were like, I don't think I could have taken another 15 more minutes of that as much as I wanted to. So, you know, it's sort of like the mind is willing and the body's weak. You know, eventually you find your limits, your physical limits, which weren't that easy to find 20 years ago, but they're pretty easy to find 5 years ago.
Some of the players were asked from an unexpected source just how long they intended to keep up this kind of exercise.
I mean, you know, it's basketball. As much as it's not as physical as a sport like football, it's still very physical. I mean, I pretty much constantly have scrapes and bruises. You know, I'll be limping at home and my wife will just shake her head and be like, I don't know why you still play. You know, I just love the game.
I guess the first decade of marriage, if I got an injury, you know, I have a lot of little broken bones here and there. Aline was, that's my wife, she would be very concerned, and you know, you have to go to the doctor, or do you want ice? And by the second decade of marriage, she would see me limping a little bit or with a cast or something, and she would say, it was basketball again, wasn't it? And I said, I would be ashamed into saying, yes, it was basketball. And by the third decade of marriage, you know, when I was in my 50s and now in my 60s, she doesn't even say anything else anymore. She sees me crawl into the house looking for the pain reliever or the oxygen or the ice. And she just looks, and I know, and she knows that I know. And so we have this silent understanding that I'm going to probably continue to play, but occasionally, maybe once a year or maybe twice a year, she does ask, how old were the people you were playing with? And it's just a reality check, but it doesn't stop me from being a fool and going back for more.